When they trust you, when they feel like you've built this bridge with them, they want to use your language. It feels empowering, like they've joined the inner circle. But you can't start there. You have to earn it. And that starts with curiosity and careful word choice. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Christy Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Christy Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Gosh, I know it's just been like a week ago that I had an episode, but so much has been packed into this week that it feels like it's been ages since I've made an episode. I'm just on a little bit of a time warp, I guess. So let me just briefly remind you that adding a star rating and a review are super easy to do on your podcast app, and they do have a huge impact. So take just a second to do those for me, pretty please. Now, I think I've been on a bit of a time warp because I was traveling last week. And it's just amazing how just going across the country, I didn't even go all the way across. I just went to Central Time Zone, but that can throw off your whole system for a bit and make your days feel just a little bit jumbled. But last week, I had the immense privilege of speaking at the Class of Our Own Women's Summit. It's the third annual gathering for plaintiff class action women from across the country, and it was held in Nashville, which is an awesome city, Music City, USA. And the conference was exquisite. Chef's kiss. The hotel, the programming, the activities, and most notably, the women that I got to know. I mean, I have said this 1,000 times, and I will say it till my dying day. You are heroes. You are warriors. You are passionate and committed, and you're a whole lot of fun too. So, huge thanks to Jean Martin, Kelly Hyman, and Don McPherson, the co-chairs for the conference, for inviting me to be the featured presenter at the conference. I spoke on maximizing engagement, the who and the how of legal communication. And it was just such a joy to see the light bulbs going off while I was teaching about nonverbal communication throughout legal advocacy. And so fun to hear the women test out new parts of their vocal range during the rest of the days together. Look, Christy, I'm using my middle voice. It was just really fun to see how they were incorporating what they had learned. So fun, so validating. And how about those severe thunderstorms that come through the Midwest and the South? We had a couple of close encounters with tornado warnings while we were there. One really fun one while we were out on the rooftop of a building having dinner, and severe thunderstorm rolled through, tornado warnings. It was all a kerfuffle. But never underestimate the ingenuity and flexibility of a group of women attorneys. Inclement weather could not hold a candle to them. So thank you, Class of Our Own, for a fabulous conference. I mean, be really proud of yourselves and keep fostering your voice. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. A too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. All right, let's talk about a sneaky, frustrating, very human habit that keeps brilliant attorneys from connecting with jurors. Here it is. You know too much. You know too much. I know it sounds like a compliment, and it is, but it's also a trap. Because when you know too much, you forget what it feels like to not know. You forget where your jurors are starting from. And if you start your case at your level of expertise, they'll get lost before you ever get to the good stuff. So today we're going to talk about how to speak so jurors can hear you. Like literally hear you, physically hear you. How to make your words land where they live instead of where you work. So let's dig in. First, your words aren't wrong. They're not wrong. They're just unreachable. You might be using the right words technically, but if they're not the words your jurors use, they're not going to stick. So let's take an example. Just this last week, one of my clients said to me, unironically, knowing that they were trying to teach me in complete seriousness, well, during discovery, we serve interrogatories, which are written questions the other side must answer under oath, and requests for production of documents. And if they fail to respond or claim their prior submissions are sufficient, which they aren't, we may have to file a motion to compel. And if they still don't comply, we can ask the court to impose sanctions to force compliance. Do you see where I'm going with this? Now, I'm a communications coach, so I've heard worse. But still, I had to stop him and say, look, I know what all that means, only because I've worked with trial attorneys for a while. But a juror, their brain is going to check out halfway through interrogatories. So I made him try it again. During the information gathering phase of a lawsuit, we send the other side written questions that they have to answer truthfully, and we also ask for documents that are important to the case. If they don't respond, or if they say that they've already sent the good enough when it's not, we can ask the judge to step in and require them to cooperate. And if they still refuse, we can ask the judge to penalize them or fine them until they do. So much better. So much better, right? Now, here's the deal. You have to use the words they naturally think first. Not because they're dumb. I really want to get away from the phrase, let's dumb it down. No, it's because they're human and we want to be accessible for all humans. Humans don't learn when they're overwhelmed. So simplify, make your language accessible. And let me just, I'm going to say this as gently as I can. This is not the time to show off how smart you are. And that's a hard temptation to fight off because you've got a pompous, highfalutin opposing counsel who you'd like to show up, and you've got a judge that you'd like to impress, and you have a team that you'd like to garner respect from. So I understand it is really tempting to live in your smarts and use them to let folks know that you're in control. But your opening statement is not a showcase for you. You're not just explaining, you're inviting. It's a hospitality moment. Your job is to welcome jurors into this unfamiliar landscape, give them a map, and help them feel smart, capable, and equipped enough to navigate the terrain with you. That means your first task is not to sound brilliant. You are brilliant, but that's not your task. Your task is to sound clear. To do that, you need to meet them where they are, not where you are, not where your law school brain lives, and definitely not where your case outline starts. Start with their language, their concerns, their curiosities, their what does that mean face during jury selection, and then build from there. And here's the beautiful part. Once someone begins to learn from you, they'll start to use your words. And that's what you want, right? Jurors using your terms in deliberations. That doesn't happen by dropping those terms on them in the first 5 minutes. It happens by bringing them into understanding first. When they trust you, when they feel like you've built this bridge with them, they want to use your language. It feels empowering, like they've joined the inner circle. But you can't start there. You have to earn it. And that starts with curiosity and careful word choice. Now, this is, I think, one of the most underused tools in your opening. Think back to jury selection. Think back to your voir dire. What did the jurors actually say in voir dire? What phrases did they use to describe fairness, responsibility, greed, truth? Use those phrases, not your carefully polished ones, not your brainstormed list of themes. Use theirs. This takes humility. It means setting aside some of your premeditative cleverness. Okay? And it's a form of generosity. It's hospitality. Again, you hear me talk about hospitality. That's what this is. It's letting the juror feel smart, safe, and seen. That's where buy-in begins. So let's just be honest here. It's hard to track juror language in real time. I mean, you're managing witness prep, courtroom dynamics, opposing counsel antics, and maybe the sandwich that you forgot to eat. So don't be afraid to get help. Use your team, but also don't be afraid to ask AI. I mean, this is a really practical, easy use of AI in the course of a lawsuit. You can ask ChatGPT, for example, to translate legalese into plain language. Just upload some of your written things and have it translate it. Ask it to suggest analogies for complex processes using juror-friendly terms. And I suggest adding in fifth grade language, common, everyday, accessible language. You can also build a living document from a focus group, or better yet, work with a coach like me who's trained to spot the learning blocks and reframe them for maximum clarity, okay? And one final tip. Fight the urge to fill the silence. Sometimes when you ask a question or make a statement in court, your brain panics and the jurors don't respond right away. But here's what's really happening. They're thinking, they're processing. Just don't interrupt that. Embrace the pause. Trust that they'll jump back in when they're ready. And when they do, they'll often give you the exact language that you can use to make your case resonate even deeper. So, here's the wrap up. Here's your cheat sheet from today. First, start where they are, not where you are. Second, use their language, not your expert terms at first. Third, mirror back their words that you mined from them in voir dire. Fourth, teach first, then introduce the real terms. Fifth, offer hospitality in your phrasing. Sixth, use AI, coaching or focus groups for feedback to mine great juror speak. And finally, don't forget to pause. Silence can be your ally. Okay, so if this episode made you rethink your opening strategy or gave you a new way to prep for voir dire, do me a favor. Share it with a colleague. Forward this link. Text it to somebody mid-trial. Be the reason that they don't say interrogatories in opening. You could save jurors' brains today. Okay? And remember, your voice is not a tool for performance. It's a tool of connection. Use it well. Keep fostering your voice, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.